Dragon Age. The Veilguard reveals how long it takes to beat the game. A recent interview with BioWare devs revealed that finishing Dragon Age, the Veilguard could need up to 100 hours of play. Despite being a very different gameplay experience from earlier games, Dragon Age, the Veilguard finest sums up BioWare's greatest qualities. It prioritizes friendships, forgoes an open environment in favor of hubs and tasks, and adopts a fighting style influenced by Mass Effect 3. A full playthrough of Dragon Age, the Veilguard can take up to 100 hours to complete. The game features 3 acts, side content, and companion interactions. Here are some other details about Dragon Age, the Veilguard. The game is set to be released on October 31st, 2024 for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. The game features combat and companions inspired by Mass Effect 3. The game includes cities and large zones like Arlethan Forest, which are connected by Olivians. The game is heavy on exploration and dialogue, with cutscenes and animations to progress the plot. Given how wide the range is between 40 and 100 hours, the Veilguard is probably going to include a lot of interesting side content. Despite being a huge hit for BioWare and even winning Game of the Year in 2014, Dragon Age, Inquisition's open world has received a lot of flack over time. Many gamers thought the Veilguard had too much bloat compared to Mass Effect 2 or Dragon Age Origins, and the development team agreed. Dragon Age, the Veilguard will thus be a much more focused experience that prioritizes quality over quantity. It will consist of 3 acts, the first of which will take the longest to finish. In addition to having a large main mission, the side content will give priority to Rook's companions and the Veilguard's 6 primary factions. Notably, Rook's decisions are said to have an impact on how his pals act during games. Friendliness, rivalry, and romance are said to have varied outcomes. A Neve that despises Rook, for instance, may greatly increase her offensive spell power but will not employ her supporting skills in battle. According to a recent interview conducted with BioWare developers, a full playthrough of Dragon Age, the Veilguard may take up to 100 hours to complete. Though its gameplay marks a radical departure from previous titles, Dragon Age, the Veilguard can best be described as an amalgamation of BioWare's biggest strengths. It places emphasis on companions, trades an open world for hubs and missions, and embraces a style of combat inspired by Mass Effect 3. Dragon Age, the Veilguard will have both Treviso and Minrathous as explorable cities in addition to expansive zones like Arlethan Forest and Hossberg Wetlands. A network of Olivians in the Lighthouse, which doubles as Rook's headquarters and a meeting spot for allies in the Veilguard, will link these places. The scope of BioWare's next game is still very ambitious, even though it might not be as big as Dragon Age Inquisition. Both Treviso and Minrathous will function as explorable cities in Dragon Age, the Veilguard, and the game will also feature large zones such as Arlethan Forest or Hossberg Wetlands on top of that. These locations will be connected via a network of Olivians in the Lighthouse, which serves as both the base of operations for Rook and a gathering place for companions in the Veilguard. While it may not be as large as Dragon Age Inquisition, it cannot be denied that the scope remains ambitious for BioWare's upcoming release. Prospective Dragon Age, the Veilguard players can now see how Rook ties into every faction via background choices picked during character creation. Locations in the game include cities and large zones like Arlethan Forest, connected by Olivians. The game still aims for quality over quantity, featuring 3 acts with side content tied to major factions and companion interactions. Both Treviso and Minrathous will function as explorable cities in Dragon Age, the Veilguard, and the game will also feature large zones such as Arlethan Forest or Hossberg Wetlands on top of that. These locations will be connected via a network of Olivians in the Lighthouse, which serves as both the base of operations for Rook and a gathering place for companions in the Veilguard. While it may not be as large as Dragon Age Inquisition, it cannot be denied that the scope remains ambitious for BioWare's upcoming release. Dragon Age, the Veilguard may take up to 100 hours to beat. The difference between 40 hours and 100 hours is broad and implies that the Veilguard will likely have a lot of meaningful side content. While Dragon Age Inquisition was a massive success for BioWare and even won Game of the Year in 2014, its open world has frequently been the subject of critique over the years. Compared to Mass Effect 2 or Dragon Age Origins, many players felt that it had a lot of bloat, and this sentiment was even echoed by the team working on the Veilguard.